All right. Well, I guess we'll get started. Welcome to all of you, and thanks for joining the Organic Grain Market Harvest 2024 webinar. Some of you will know me by now from past webinars, but for those of you who don't, my name is Will Odie. I'm an organic producer. I also happen to be the president of Sask Organics, and I'm moderating today's session. And I will ask you to excuse me if I have to clear my throat or if I sneeze in the middle of this. I've noticed from other speakers, I'm not alone with a cold. I am speaking to you today from my farm outside Regina on Treaty 4 territory. And before we get started, we're going to have a few opening slides and acknowledgements. Just going to go through our sponsor. There's housekeeping slide. I'll read out the bullet points. It's sometimes easier if you get rid of other programs to make sure that you have a good audio and video quality. Attendees are muted on entry. You can type your questions into the chat at any time. There will be time to answer questions from the audience after each presenter. We'll do as many of them as we can within the allotted time. The webinar is scheduled to be approximately 2 hours, but it can go slightly over or under. If you can't make it to the end today, you can always watch the recording. And bear with us, as there will be potentially technical glitches. It has happened, but we will try to run it as smoothly as possible. And a thank you to our gold sponsors, FW Cobs, Grain Millers.
Oh.
No, that's not Grain Millers. Wait a minute. I'm reading my script. Bioriginal, obviously. Yeah, sorry about that. Wrong order here. Grain Millers, Sunrise Foods International, MGM Seed and Grain, Bay State Milling, and Prairie Heritage Seeds. Now we're silver sponsors. Mumm Sprouting Seeds, Fresh Hemp Foods, and Oleet Processing. And our bronze sponsors, Growers International and Avena Foods. Now to our first actual presenter. Just before we start here, many of you have attended these webinars before, so you're familiar with the process. But for those of you who are new, each company representative will speak for about 5 minutes or so, give or take. Then we'll take questions from the audience via the chat. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat, and we will share as many of those questions as we have time for at the end of presentation. Now, we will get right into the first presentation, and that is from FW Cobs and Ben Horgan, who joins us. Welcome, Ben, and thanks for getting us underway today.
Thanks, Will, and thanks, Deb, and thanks to Sask Organics for putting this on every fall, something that we look forward to so we can reach out to many of our producers and let them know where we are as far as what we're looking for, price, and everything else. So again, my name's Ben Horgan, one of the two merchandisers with FW Cobs. Also, if you don't speak to me, chances are you speak to Pete Manahan. I just want to start off by saying, at the beginning of the year, January 21st, 2024, our lives were kind of turned upside down. As many of you know, we had a fire in Lorburn, complete loss of our elevator. And I just want to take a minute to thank everyone for reaching out to us, seeing how they can help out. Just the outpouring of support that we got through the time, as when it first happened was incredible, and we're certainly thankful for that. And we really made us realize a lot of the relationships that we had in the industry, and the great relationships that we formed with many producers. So just wanted to start off by thanking everybody for reaching out. It certainly meant a lot to Sean and to all of us. So having said that, we currently have a temporary setup in Lorburn. We have 10 8,000 bushel bins, so we still are operational there. As we do go into winter, I think it's going to be more kind of play it by ear than taking grain every day, just so that You know, when the weather allows, we'll take grain and you know, do the best we can until we find a permanent facility to set up in. You know, we are committed to staying in Saskatchewan, and you know, certainly we're here for the long haul. So having said that, talking about what we're looking for going into late 2024 and into 2025, going to be looking for barley and screenings, fall rye, peas. As far as what we're looking for now, we're primarily looking for barley and screenings. We are pretty full on rye, have a decent amount of peas in storage now, so that would be pushed back to 2025. To get you an idea on pricing, peas, and keep in mind as well, everything that we work with is feed grade. Before I talk about pricing, I do want to talk about the markets as a whole, the feed grade market. Certainly what we've seen on our side is feed prices tumble over the last probably since last August or so, have come down. We're seeing corn price, which corn usually kind of runs the market and controls the price of other feed grains is kind of what we've noticed over the years. Seen corn at one of the lowest, organic corn at one of the lowest prices we have in probably the last 7 to 8 years. So typically a lot of things do, you know, eventually reflect that corn price. So barley prices currently at $6.50 delivered to the elevator right now. Later on into springtime, we'd be looking at, depending on where you're located, a $6.50 picked up price, and that'd be looking at May, June timeframe. Screenings price, always looking for screenings. We're paying $175 a metric ton currently. Peas, somewhere, I don't have working on a couple programs as is Pete. Somewhere around that $16 to $17 mark is an indication. I'm hoping to get something firmed up in the next couple weeks with that. And rye, currently looking at probably December to January delivery at the earliest, and the feed price on that's currently somewhere around that $5.75 to $6. So certainly I know this isn't where a lot of producers want prices to be, but you know, certainly they don't stay at the bottom for long typically, and you know, just like many other times, they work out from the bottom, and the prices do get better over time. So certainly if you have a little time and can be a little patient, I think things do have the potential to improve. But yeah, that's the current state of the markets right now. Just what we're seeing on our end, just listening to other end users and hearing what they're saying, is there is a lot of import pressure that has affected the prices. So that's currently where they are. You know, we are proud to continue our vow to never import grain outside of North America, and we'll continue to do so, and keep working with our friends in our backyard to keep grain moving. So thanks for your time, and please let me know what questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I'm not seeing any questions. Deb, are you seeing something I'm not? Oh, there we are. Finally, it's come up here.
Nothing yet.
No.
I did want to say too, I did miss a bullet point here. We do have the potential to take partial loads, even if you and a neighbor each had a half load. Certainly something we could coordinate and make sure we took care of for you. So you know, we are working through the not the same setup as we had, but we're doing the best we can, and it's been working pretty well. So we're trying to do everything we can to accommodate producers right now. So
I may have missed it, but when you talked about screenings, you mentioned the prices on a number of things. I don't recall your and screenings
oh,
prices.
my apologies if I didn't say it. We're paying currently $175 delivered, which is down a little bit compared to, I think, where we were a year ago. I believe we were around 200 a metric ton. So it is down a little bit, but still, I think in relation to how corn and other things have fallen, I still think it's a pretty decent price, all things considered.
Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Anything more for Ben? If not, I guess we'll say thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it.
I know. Um, Next company to join us is Bioriginal, and to speak to us today is Derek McDonald. Thanks for being here, and you're up, Derek.
No problem. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Thanks for having us once again. So just briefly about our company. We've been around for a long time. I want to say 25, almost 30 years at Bioriginal, and not a lot has changed in that time. I think in the last 15 or 16 years, folks that have dealt with us have seen Sandy's in my face for the majority of that. And we just continued to plug along. On the organic space, we are still strong on the organic flax side, as well as the conventional flax as well. And that just continues to grow and move along for us. We at Bioriginal have offices in several places now. We continue to expand with several mergers and acquisitions recently. We most recently being the brand Nutiva. Our CEO went out and purchased a brand called Nutiva. You would see them in the Costco's and the Sobeys and the Loblaws, and they're a huge player in the organic coconut space. So that's been something that's been new in the last probably 4 to 6 months. We also purchased as a company POS Biosciences on the U of S campus. We've worked with POS for many years in our oils and fats section of our business, and so that was nice, because to be able to have that those abilities in house are important for us, because I'm not sure if everyone on the call knows, we at Bioriginal, we do not trade. We're a value add company. We will process the seeds that we purchase from all the growers and producers, and we'll crush for the oil. We will mill for milled seed, flax meal, and then from there it'll go into different lines of business, whether it be pet nutrition, human nutrition, you name it. So that's just a little bit about us. Currently, crop needs, we are always on the hunt for organic and conventional flax. Organic, especially, that is the majority of our business. We do have a little more stringent testing, I would say, than most, which isn't always best for us, because we do have to pass on crops from time to time. But because of things like Prop 65 in California and different places like that, we're always testing for things like heavy metals. I can't think of what else. Microbial stuff has come up as of late, aflatoxins, different things. And what we were surprised to find out was recently that just like in human space, even in the animal space now, people are making those same kind of quality demands, and so it's been a little bit of a challenge. But crops that we currently have available, we're always looking for organic, conventional flax, contract, spot buy, you name it, and we'll do that throughout the course of the year. We try to contract as much as we can early on in December, January, before the growing year starts. But once we do, we typically try to balance our procurement process between the contracts and the spot buys, as many of the growers and producers do as well. Current price indications for the crops that we have coming in lately, we've seen anywhere from $48 to $50 a bushel net clean seed. At Bioriginal, that's typically how we will buy the seed, is based on a net clean basis. We pay for trucking, we pay for cleaning, and then that's kind of to offset the need for the net clean, which is cleaner than the typical traded product. Contract terms and movement. Again, as I mentioned before, we will pick up at the farmers' bins. In the past, we've had material delivered. We try to remain as flexible as possible. Ultimately, if we have demand for the seeds, we'll work with all of our growers and producers to make something work. That's the best part about kind of being a small to medium business, is that we're not stuck in in how we do things. If it means that the producer would prefer to deliver, then so be it. Typical dockage allowance. Again, this can be negotiable. It depends on what Sandy's needs are for that time period, but we typically clean at 99.9. That's what we'll pay against for net clean seed. But in the past, depending on I guess product availability and just what was out there, we've been able to be flexible in the past and make something work. We've been able to go with slightly lower dockage, like CGC dockage, and just adjust the price accordingly. As I mentioned before, we typically will be responsible for the trucking from the farmer to our seed cleaners. The question around the handling less than the full truckload quantities, this is always kind of it's difficult for us, I'll be honest, only because we sink we have certain sunk costs with every lot that we bring in when it comes to the traceability, organics, and everything, as many of you know, I'm sure. So it can be difficult at times to take in smaller quantities, but for the most part, we will accommodate, especially if it's an overrun or something like that, or but yeah, it's definitely feasible depending on the time and the need. So that's kind of how we'll handle the less than truckload quantities. When it comes to the insurance and protections, we are CGC bonded. We are quite a large company. We've got great credit. We have no issues on that front, and so that's yeah. There's nothing else I can really mention on that front. As for the markets, this is something I'm curious to hear maybe from the rest of the speakers, especially those that are dealing in the flax space, is what's going to happen with what we've been noticing with the embargoes, with trade with Russia, the Kazakh seed, everything. Initially, we didn't know what would happen with pricing and with availability, only because Europe had closed their borders. And so what it appears to me it meant that would start happening is that Canadian flax exports have gone through the roof to Europe, and the Russian exports to Europe have gone through the floor. I don't know if that seed is going to start making its way to Canada, if it's going to start making its way to China. But that's something that is of concern for us, I would say, because a lot of our customers, finished products, brands, places that we sell, they are very price sensitive, and unfortunately, anything coming out of China, as you know, will drop that price heavily for us and make it difficult to compete. And as for just the quality of the crop samples that have been coming in thus far this year, we haven't seen much of anything thus far at Bio, but of what we have not heard anything negative. And so far, I think of the one or two samples we got, they've looked good. Everything is in for testing, and so far no red flags. So that's exciting. From everything we've heard, growers have had at the very least a decent year, and they're waiting to get everything in the bin finally and see where it all shakes out. So yeah, that's just a brief overview of what's going on with us and what we're looking for. And I've seen a couple of questions pop up, but I'll leave that to you, Will, or would you like me to respond?
Go ahead, respond. Sure.
Okay. So the first question from Kevin and Donna: where does the cleaning take place? Typically, Bioriginal, we partnered with Leps out in Hepburn many years ago, well before my time, and so that's typically where we will try and put all of our seed cleaning through. But we've used anyone and everyone. Again, in the spirit of being flexible, we've bought from all over the prairie provinces, down in the US. It doesn't matter. If you're able to get the seed clean somewhere else and would prefer to sell net clean seed, then we are all for it. But typically, to answer your question, that's where we would clean. Typically, probably 80+% of our product goes through Leps and through Murray. And then the question around the different price for yellow flax. Yeah, I wish I could help on that. It's been many years since Sandy and I've dealt in the yellow flax space. we used to have a few key products that that we made with that yellow flax, but it just for whatever reason we couldn't make a go of it in the market. So we typically stick to the organic brown flax at Bio. And that's it.
I guess we'll say thank you to Derek.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for joining us. Next up, we hear about organic hemp markets from Margot Cassagnan of Fresh Hemp Foods, Manitoba Harvest. Welcome, Margot.
Thank you, Will. I hope everyone can hear me all right. I'll get started. So, as Will said, my name is Margot Cassagnan. I'm an agronomist at Fresh Hemp Foods. So I'll start by talking a little bit about the company. Fresh Hemp Foods was funded in '98. We're based out of Manitoba, so we have 2 locations. We have one located in Winnipeg, and then we have one in Senegath, which is just a small town south of Winnipeg. We operate under 2 brand names. We have Manitoba Harvest, which is our branded name that you can find in store. And then we also have the brand Manitoba Hemp Oil Canada, which is for our bulk ingredient sales and white label. Our main focus is on hemp. So we contract both organic and conventional hemp, and we contract through the Canadian prairies, and then we also buy some organic through Quebec. For current crop needs, we are looking to increase organic acres for the 2025 growing seasons. We currently don't have any 2025 production year contracts available, but we will have them soon. We usually launch at our grower meetings, which take place in late November to early December. Some price indications for the 2024 crop year, we were at $1.55 a pound. We buy on a clean pound basis, and all of our prices are FOB seed cleaner facility. So we do work with approved and licensed seed cleaners all through the provinces that we work with. For the 2025 year, we don't have a price out yet. Like I said, we will announce that at our grower meetings probably in a month or 2. But for a little bit of a price indication, so far, we're not expecting our prices to vary too much from the 2024 crop year. The crops that we typically purchase, so we purchase organic and conventional hemp. We do also purchase some oats for our oatmeal and our granola, and then we also purchase some flax for seed blends. However, we just purchase from existing supply chains, so we don't contract with growers on that. Contract terms and movements. So we do have a full production contract with an act of God clause. In order to help growers with cash flow as much as possible, we pay a 75% down payment once the grain is clean and we receive a clean sample. So that's often before the grain reaches us here in Manitoba. The grower is responsible to pay for the cleaning costs, but we're going to pay upfront and then we'll deduct it from the final payment. For movement, we bring in grain all throughout the year, so the farmers do have to store the grain on farm until we bring it in, but we do pay storage premiums for that. Dockage allowance. So we buy grain at a purity of 99.9% we do have a different grading system. So we have a grade 2 and a grade 3 and a grade 1. So the 99.9 would be for grade 1, and then we have more flexibility for the lower grades. We do also have additional consideration for allergens like gluten. For the trucking, the farmers truck the seed to the seed cleaners and we take it from there. And then for less than full loads, in order to be efficient with trucking, we do like to see a full load, a full B train load. So depending on yields, that would be anywhere from 80 to 100 acres we would like to see contracted. Insurance and protection. So we try to improve our contracts every year. So we have better payment terms with a down payment now. Hemp is also part of the cash advance program to help growers with cash flow and also crop insurance program. We offer seed financing. And then, like I said, we also introduce some water quality specs with the pasteurization kill step for microbiology issues. In terms of markets for sample quality, so we've just started to see samples come in. So far, the quality looks good. So that's good on that front. And then our expectations and predictions for the market coming up. Like I said, we're going to require an increase in organic acres for 2025. So we're open to talk to anyone with an interested to learn more about hemp production. That's all for me. So thanks for your time, and my contact information is on the screen. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And if there's any questions, I'll take them.
Thank you, Margot. There's one question has come up. Where do your grower meetings take place?
So in Saskatchewan, we usually do it around Saskatoon. And then we also have one in Alberta around Tabor area, and then in Manitoba and Senegal. And we will have an online option, I do believe, too, for growers that can't attend in person.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. Hemp
Mhm.
is obviously a rather specialty crop. In terms of a production advice, because you could check with a neighbor on a lot of other crops, but you're not going to be checking with your neighbor about production because lots of people do not produce hemp. So what do you do in assistance in that regards for growers who might be considering growing hemp?
We have a full agronomy team. So we're here to coach before and then all throughout the growing season. We do like to travel out to the fields too to visit all of our farmers in the different provinces. And then we also send growing tips all through the growing season. And yeah, we're always just a phone call away.
And about seed itself, obviously it's not something you're going to be buying from a neighbor either. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. We do have a pedigree production program, so we do supply seed as well. We're flexible on varieties, but we do supply our own seeds too that work really well for us.
Okay. No more questions. I don't see any more coming up on the chat here. I guess, well, thank you very much for your presentation, Margot.
Thank you, Will.
Right on. Next up, we welcome Tom Allen from Growers International. Thanks for joining us today, Tom. The floor is yours.
Hey, thanks, Will. Good to see you. And thanks to Sask Organics, Deb and Will for putting this together. I think it's a great thing for the producers to just to be able to hear what all the companies are, what their view of the marketplace is at this time of year, to help everybody kind of manage their marketing. So I'm Tom Allen. Growers International is the company. We're a subsidiary of Patterson Grain. So we are licensed and bonded through Patterson Grain, as we are not a separate company, but a part of Patterson. So our bond is the Patterson bond, which is very large because Patterson is a large conventional company. So we've been in business organically, Growers International, for 20 plus years. Mark Jimby was the buyer previous to me. We've just brought on a new buyer, Jacques Gross. So if you call in, you may end up talking to Jacques or myself. Jacques is mainly working with producers in Manitoba, Alberta, and north of the Yellowhead Highway. I'm doing anything Saskatchewan south of the Yellowhead Highway, but you can talk to either of us. Just a little bit of background about myself. I'm sure that a lot of people on the webinar, I've met them, but I was a certified organic producer for 23 years. So yeah, I have a lot of knowledge about organic farming in general. I've tried a lot of the practices and in that time period. So I do end up talking a lot about farming with producers. So even if you're interested in, you've got questions in that regard, feel free to call us to chat. But Growers International, we have elevators. So we have facilities in Lang, Saskatchewan and Herbert, Saskatchewan. They're both wooden elevators. We have a ability to clean there, but it's just indent cleaning. So we're not doing any specialty crops there. So the crops that we're, mostly focusing on are, we do a lot of hard red spring wheat. We do flax. We do a fair bit of durum. We do malt barley, screenings. We're covering that. I guess I'll back up a little bit on that and just say what we're seeing as far as the market goes. We're seeing that our demand is kind of steady. I would say it's down a little bit is what we're getting from our end users. A lot of our product goes to the US. We are seeing the demand is down a bit there, but also the yields in the US were really good this year. So a lot of those companies can buy those crops, a lot closer to where they are as opposed to us. And we have to compete with that. So we've got our freight constraints and so on. So we're seeing that as a bit of a negative. in the marketplace, and what they're telling us is just demand is down a little bit, and whether it's inflation or other factors, I think it's a combination of them. But I mean, there definitely still is demand. We're just not seeing it rise as fast as we have in the past. Samples. We've seen quite a number of samples this fall so far. What we're noticing on the wheat side, good quality, a little bit of lightweight test weight, not as much as the reports that people are giving us from the conventional side. I know there was a lot of light test weight issues on the conventional side in southern Saskatchewan, especially in the southwest. We're seeing that the organic guys aren't having that issue show up. Protein levels, we're seeing them fairly high. But good quality all in all. We haven't seen much come across our sample room that's feed wheat. And also, I should say, for us, we do test our samples at our Lang, Saskatchewan facility, and I guess I don't have that address up on there, but if anyone wants to, my email's on there. If you want to email me or give a call or text, I can text you that Lang address, but that's where we test all our samples there. We brought in quite a bit of grain. We had quite a bit of new crop production contracts, and we do try to give those people priority as far as coming in, because we know that's a part of producers wanting to do production contracts. Is, a lot of them, it's looking to get that early movement, get some money. They need money to pay bills, so we do prioritize them. Our space is starting, and we have bought a lot beyond that this fall. So far, space is starting to get pretty tight from now till the end of this calendar year for grain coming in. But we probably, have the ability to fit some stuff in, but it is getting tight. What else can I say here? We can accept. I mean, we accept all quantities. I deal with guys, they're close by. If they want to deliver 200 bushels, they've got something to empty out a bin, or, we do super beat trucks or split loads with a couple different farmers. So, I mean, we're just into making it work for guys and moving products. So, now I guess, when you go to the specific products, if you want to look at prices, we got hard red spring wheat. I'm going to give you all these prices as delivered prices. And that's what we base ours on. We pick up lots of product for producers, but we just back off whatever specific freight it is for the producer. Someone that's 30 miles away, or 30 or 50 kilometers away from our facility, obviously their freight is going to be a lot different than someone that's 500 kilometers away or anywhere in between. So we do the freight specific to the producer and where they're located to our facility. Hard red spring wheat, we're at $18 delivered right now. Flax were $47. Durum were $23. Screenings were $180 delivered. We do one thing. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is our malt barley program. We do a malt barley program, but it's specific. Our customer is specific to Copeland. So I know I've run into people that are out there that are growing, some of the newer malt varieties. I just would say to anybody, if you're looking to grow malt barley, check around with the buyers and see what they're going to accept, because there's no use to grow a malt barley that's not acceptable to a buyer, right? So that's something that I would just encourage guys to check in. And our variety may change. It's all dependent on the end user, but for the last number of years, our end user has been looking for Copeland. So that's what we've been working with. We do a fair bit of production contracts. We start to talk to producers about those in February, I would say, is when we kind of start to look at pricing that stuff out. We do a lot of that for movement. And I don't know. I think that kind of covers what I'd say. Feel free to, myself and Jacques, we're on the phone all day. So if you're just wanting to talk, even if you're wanting to price check with somebody else that you're trying to come to an agreement with, give us a call and talk to us. We'll tell you where we're at with price. It's not always about I don't just talk to people that I'm buying grain from. I talk to we'll talk to anybody about farming and pricing. So I think that's about it. Well, I don't see the questions coming up on my screen, so if there are any, if you could let me know.
Yeah, there was one came up with regards to flax. You said it was $47, and the question was, is that cleaned? And sort of what dockage is allowed for that $47?
Well, the way we handle it is, so that's a delivered price. So the freight would come off of that from your farm, wherever that is. But that's $47. That's elevator dockage plus 3%. So we're running it through the CGC screens, whatever dockage that is. We will add 3% to that, and that's for losses that we're going to incur with inseparable seeds and so on. But we feel it gives the producer a better handle on, like, as opposed to a net clean. We really don't know how hard does that cleaner have to clean to get to a net clean. What does he have to take out all the weed seeds? So this gives somebody, that if your flax comes in and it's 8% dockage, you're going to be 11% with us. You're just going to add 3% on that.
Another question on the chat is, are samples graded in Herbert as well?
They are actually graded in Herbert too. Yes. Yeah, I should say. So if you're in closer proximity to Herbert, yes, Kelly at Herbert grades the samples, or Andrew at Lang.
All righty. Well, I see no other questions at the moment here, so I will say thank you to you, Tom.
Yeah, and I would also, I guess the other thing I'd like to say too, just to the producers is, phone when you're looking to sell something, phone everybody. Find out where everybody's at. I wouldn't, I think that's what all the people on the panel are. That's what they're doing all day, is talking on the phone, and I think it's a huge positive for the producer just to get on the phone and find out where the price is today on whatever product it is from 3 or 4 buyers. So
Thanks for the advice, Tom. Alrighty, appreciate that. We will next move to Carolyn Crawford from Mumm Sprouting Seeds. Welcome, Carol. Over to you.
Hi there. Okay, couldn't remember where I was in the order actually. So good. So we've been on here before. Mumm Sprouting Seeds has been in the seed business for 42 years this year, and looking forward to many more. We're founded and started with Jim and Maggie Mumm. And of course, Lisa owns it now, has for, I think, the last 12 years or so. I will apologize. We're an open office. So if I've got some background noise, it's just the business carrying on around me. So I guess we deal strictly with organic. That seems to be a question that comes up every now and then. Certified organic ourselves as a processor and as farmers. We have recently actually acquired a company in the US. We have taken on the Sproutman brand, which basically we'd always supplied them anyways, but they're also into the powders and capsules and things like that. So they've been a great addition to our team, and allowing us to get out and explore more markets, especially overseas. And anyways, carrying on, I guess, with some of the bullet points. Our current crop needs, we're of course always looking for our speckled peas or our 4010 forage peas. I can tell you at this moment we are $32 a bushel, cleaned to 99.9%, picked up at the cleaner. Everything up to the clean product is on the supplier, and then we go from there. We are also actually looking right now, there is a handout for at the end of the meeting. We're looking right now as well for alfalfa seed, yellow peas, buckwheat, and red clover, more chickpeas, more fabas, sunflower. If anybody knows of anybody growing Canadian sunflower, that'd be excellent. We haven't had any for a while. And then of course, we're always looking for our hulless oats, hulless barley, brown mustard, oriental mustard actually is something we're looking for again, quite earnestly. Soft white wheat, is something we could use right now. And those prices, of course, I don't have off the top of my head. Sunflower probably at about $1.25 a pound, give or take. Green peas we'd be at 29, and with yellows as well, 29 dollars a bushel. So we basically try to buy through, I guess, throughout the prairie provinces. We do import some from the US, and then of course there are things that we sell that we cannot grow here. So we are importing from Italy, India, Inner Mongolia, and I guess other areas around the world. We don't do a lot of contracts. We can. We just find that we're, basically spot buying because we do buy smaller lots, which is one thing we can help people out with is to be, that 5 metric tons or whatever that we can take off your hands. If it works for us, we'll do that. So there's no concerns there. So the things we do contract though, I guess would be our peas most often. And we can, it's a fairly loosely worded contract, allowing for, of course, acts of God. And because we sell into the sprouting and microgreen industries, we have different, I guess, different specs. So if we have something contracted, it doesn't meet our specs, we will continue to help you market that into another market. We don't just leave you high and dry with your product. What else do we have here? Sample quality, I was surprised. This was the earliest I've ever seen samples coming in. And I've been doing this now for about 8 years and looking really good. We're still on the lookout for even more. We've got a lot of speckled peas coming in. We really had to push on that when we were doing, when we were talking with farmers last spring or the previous fall. But we can always use more, of course. And yeah, everything's looking good. We're not seeing that dormancy period in the peas that we normally see. So I guess conditions have been just right for that. So we're actually selling it pretty much as fast as we can get it in, get it tested because we do the pathogen testing and all that as well. So our markets are very, very strong. We're seeing a lot of overseas interest, a lot of American interest, especially in the pulses. Just got word this morning, one of our customers had more than doubled their order on the speckled peas or the 4010 forages from 20,000 pounds to 50,000 pounds. So I'm at it again, looking, of course, for more speckled peas. Just looking at some of my notes that I've been making here. If we are going to contract somebody to grow something for us, we will supply the seed and we just do a production contract sort of thing, minus the seed supplied. So that isn't out of pocket for you right off the hop. If we're supplying seed for you, we just take it off of your production. We will be at put a plug in here for Organic Connections. We will be there again. Lisa, myself, one of the guys from Sprout Man is going to join us this year, as well as I've got a couple other people working with me here on the purchasing front now. Ryan Onorowski, he'll be there with me. And then I also have Cheyenne Penner that is doing a bulk of the paperwork and that for me now as we continue to grow. I think, I don't know, is there anything I've missed? Are there any questions? I can take those now.
Well, there's a question that says, where can I find some 4010 pea seed? But that might have been you who put that in there, judging by their comment.
No, yeah, whoever is asking, just give us a call. My contact information is there for phone and email. We can, if we know far enough ahead, we can make sure we've got that seed set aside for you, and you can pick it up in the spring or whatever. We do have a little extra room.
I'm personally curious for 4010 forage peas, like where do they go? How do people use them?
They're grown as a microgreen. So they're
Okay.
grown out, to that about a 6 to 7 inch stage. They're used in lots of restaurants, lots of health food stores. Yeah, they just seem to go everywhere. So,
And different than other kinds of peas, obviously.
well, yeah, they grow faster. They have a little bit of a different taste to them. You don't see the tendrils like you would see with a green. We actually also sell a lot of green and yellow as well. So that's
It
good.
says here, another question, are there restrictions regarding livestock grazing previously to crops to qualify for sprouting?
We do pathogen testing and everything anyways once the lot is here because we have to do a representative sample of the entire lot. But the restrictions, I guess, are I think it's a 5 mile. I'd have to look that up actually. But if the drainage is away from your field, even if that livestock production or feedlot or whatever is within that 5 miles, there's it's a fair chance that you're not getting any of the pathogens that would have resulted from the drainage.
Okay. No other comments? Well,
Okay,
not
sounds
seeing any
good.
coming up. We
Okay,
thank you
well,
very much,
great.
Caroline.
Thanks for having us again. So, thank you.
Okay,
All right, bye.
bye-bye. Next, we have Ken Richmond from Oleet Processing and O&T Farms. Thank you, Ken. You have the
Yes,
floor.
yes, good morning. My webcam doesn't seem to be working very good, so Deb and I tried to fix it yesterday, but you don't want to see my face anyhow. Anyways, O&T Farms had been around since, I guess, Tim Wayne's 1967, and he started a new company, O&T Farms, or Oleet Processing, in late 90s, I guess it was. And what we buy is we're both conventional and organic. Organics we got into about 5 years ago, I believe, and conventional we do quite a bit. Probably buy 50,000 ton of different products: flax, canola, pulses. Um, Mostly this is for the conventional side. The other nice thing about we just had an announcement come out September 25th from Tim that he's expanding quite a bit, going to double the size of the company. It's going to spend in the neighborhood of $10 million expanding the plant at Highway 11. And that's kind of exciting for everybody. It's going to mean more people, more employees, and more product to buy. So that should be up and running, I think probably the end of 26, maybe early 27. But anyways, it's going to happen. Pretty exciting. There was an announcement put in the Western Producer back about 2 weeks ago, I believe. So pretty exciting for everybody. We got two plants. Uh, One on Highway 11. It's conventional, and we buy lots of different flax and pulses, as I said. The organic plant is over on Highway 6, just north of Ring Road. Like I say, we are 4 or 5 years into it. It's started small, and we got a little bit bigger, but I think demand has maybe slipped just ever so little. Through COVID, pricing got pretty high, things like that. So I think demand got there was places for the consumer to put their dollars other than an organic product, I believe. I'll just go through this point form here. We have what are your current crops needs, especially conventional pulses, flax, lots of it. Organics, we buy organic peas, yellows or greens. We'll buy organic flax, golden or brown, and we buy ever so little of organic canola and a little bit of organic alfalfa, but really not a lot. We have a few contracts in place right now. We've recovered a little bit on the flax, probably till December, maybe end of November. And peas we're actively buying right now. Indications are flax. We're about be in the $48 range delivered our plant on Highway 6, and we will allow non-deductible 5% dockage in that flax. So technically, you're in the 50 range because we're blending it with peas and that, and we can deal with the dockage. We can take up to 9-10%, but above 5% certainly it's deductible. We do not have a cleaning facility. If it's higher than that, farmer wants to haul it in, it's on him to have it cleaned. Peas, right now we're at 20.5 delivered. Same scenario, 5% dock, non-deductible, and up to 9-10 deductible. We are looking for some peas right now. We've got some on contract, probably enough for another month. So we're actively looking for it. Flax again, probably. Well, we'd have room for some here mid-November, early December. So if you got interest in it, you give Mark or Cody a call at Regina, or my cell's on there too. You can get a hold of me here too. We don't have a lot of storage for the organic stuff, but we try to keep the bins in the top half of the bin because we do get some sporadic orders, and we don't need emergency runs. Trucking, we can arrange to pick it up, but it'll be deductible. But we prefer the farmer to haul it in. We get all our samples in prior to we buy them. We do an NIR test, and basically in the organic, or all of them, we're buying oil. What we're buying, we're testing it for ALA, and that's the product that goes in for Omega. So yeah, that's what we're after. We are able to handle any size of load. We can handle super bees, small loads. We've cleaned bins out. We can do anything. Just we like to coordinate it with the guys at the mills. But it worked out. Insurance, we are CGC involved. We have had no problem with that, and we don't have any plans on being any problems. Everything's been tickety-boo with that. Quality, some of the crop this year has been pretty decent. A little bit of dockage, a little higher in organics for sure, but that's expected. And what are our expectations or predictions? Well, predictions are just predictions, so they are. I don't personally, my own opinion, see too much of it changing. Earlier, one of the commenters mentioned about Russia and Ukraine and all that, Europe. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. That we could get lambasted with a tariff overnight or a closure of a market, and things can change so much, as we all know. So, not really into predicting. I know right now, somebody also said U.S. had a pretty decent crop. They did towards the east. Montana didn't. It was pretty bad down there. But the rest of the areas, good crops. So we're seeing some interest from people wanting to sell that. So keeping an eye on that. That may put a lid on the price. Probably will for the time being. But again, things change. The election's coming up. Who knows what's going to happen? So I guess we'll wait to see. So I'm not going to make a big prediction other than I don't think there's going to be a heck of a lot of movement. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I been in the business for 43 years, buying grain. So if you got any questions, shoot them out.
Alrighty. I'm not seeing any questions on the chat here. Nobody has any at the moment here.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ken. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Will.
Righto. And next we have Matt Speidel with Avena Foods. Thank you for being with us today, Matt, and over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sask Organics. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Deb, for putting on this webinar today. And then thank you to everyone who's joining in. So yeah, my name is Matt Speidel. I'm a buyer at Avena Foods. I work closely with Mike Galley, who some of you know. I work closely with Kelsey Hill. She's my little partner in crime that we work together on procurement. So there's that. I've been with the company for over 20 years now, and I've seen definitely my fair share of peas and lentils and now oats. Avena Foods is a specialty miller of purity protocol oats, gluten-free, and we do pulses here. We mill them into various kinds of ingredients for food manufacturers all over the world. We have two oat mills, one in Regina on First Avenue, just a block west of Cowtown. We have an oat mill here in Rowett, where I am. We have an oat cleaning facility. We have two pulse facilities. One does the splitting of the peas. The other one does cleaning of mostly lentils, but we do clean peas out of there too. In Manitoba, in Portage la Prairie, we have our flour facility over there. So current crop needs, I'll probably just tie that in with current price indications too. Yellow peas were around the $21 a bushel. Green peas around the $24 a bushel. Large greens, I'd say would be around the $1.10 a pound. French greens would be 95 cents. In there, black lentils around the $1.05 is where we're at. So on the oat side of it, you know, we're probably around that 10 mark on sample approval. We're in that department anyway, so for our contract terms, so on our pulses and oats, we do a lot of forward contracting, but we do leave room throughout the year to do some spot stuff on the peas and the oats as well. Dockage, you know, we're pretty well just standard elevator dockage on that stuff. Who generally is responsible for trucking? So on the trucking side of it, we could accommodate, like some folks just want to deliver their own grain, or if they want it picked up, we can look around to different freight guys, different trucking companies, and try and get the best rate we can for you guys and ourselves. So there's that. We can handle less than full loads, especially on the pulses side of it. On the oat side, you know, it's a traceability thing where we have to have everything just get segregated. So if the truck if the grower's already in one bin and he only has 500 bushels, of course we will just clean up that bin or whatever the producer has on the farm. So that part's okay. Avena Foods, we are licensed and bonded, that's for sure. When we talk about the markets, so the pulse markets, they're a little quieter right now, but I think that once we get into the in the late fall, into the winter, we're going to start seeing those pulse markets pick back up. On the oats, it's just steady seems steady on that one. Samples, we haven't received piles and piles of samples yet. But what I could say is that what I've seen, the quality looks good. I wouldn't say that everyone's happy with the bushels they got. That those consecutive weeks with that heat wasn't good for nobody. So where else am I think that's that's all I got.
All righty. No other comments from the chat right now?
And my info's down at the bottom, so you can reach out with, you give me a call or a text, or you know where I am. I'm just a few miles south of Regina. So if anybody's swinging past me through Rowett, you're welcome to stop by and have a visit for sure.
Matt, you had mentioned the gluten-free oats, and it may be possible that some people don't understand, what's involved in that process. Can you explain that?
Sure. So we do have a purity protocol in place, some hoops to go through. So, you know, I'll just give you some, like the foundation of it is the use of certified seed, grown on land that hasn't had any gluten-containing crops for sure 3 years. So when, you know, there's part of that too is that certain varieties is what we accept. There's some varieties that we prefer over others. And then of course we have grower school, there's isolation strips. That's pretty well the foundation of it. You know, there's still some hoops to go through with paperwork and traceability, but that's that part of it for sure.
So the $10 you mentioned, that's based on gluten-free oats.
It is based on it. It's based on samples. Yeah, like some samples are that there's no gluten in there, and we can stick handle our way through it. We have some end users that can use that type of product for sure.
So to make it more specific, it would be oats could not be grown after having seen rye, wheat, or barley, presumably
Right.
on the same field
Right.
within the last 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Right.
correct. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Will.
Oh, thanks very much, Matt. Much appreciated.
Thank you guys too, everyone. Take care.
All righty. Next up, we go to MGM Bay State Milling, and representing them today is Ryan Potts. Welcome, Ryan. You have
Thanks,
the
Will.
floor.
Yeah, so my name's Ryan Potts. I work here at MGM Seed and Grain. I've worked here for about a little over 2 years now. A little bit of background on MGM. MGM is an oat mill. We're located just outside of Saskatoon along the number 16 highway, heading to Yorkton there. Our facility has been here. Our facility got started back in 2015. And then in 2017, we partnered with Bay State Milling there to help develop our oat business. And then in 2021, Bay State Milling purchased the remaining equity in MGM Seed and Grain. So now we're solely owned by Bay State Milling there. For crop needs, we're a strictly oat mill. We're only processing oats here, and gluten-free oats to be a little bit more specific. Similar to Avena there, as Matt talked about the Purity Protocol program, we use the same Purity Protocol program here as well. To help work with the growers from the start to be able to produce completely gluten-free oats. In terms of contracts, most of our contracting is actually done in the kind of the spring time frame there. That allows us to, we do production-based contracts prior to the growing season. For the most part, we do a little bit of spot buying here and there, but most of it is done in the spring through production contracts. So right now we don't have any prices out there or any bids out there. Price indications, a bit hard to say right now where we'll be at coming in the spring. Seems like there's from what I've heard, I've heard quite a few good yields out there. So we'll have to see kind of what the winter brings and before we come up with a price for next year. Crops are typically purchasing, like I said, we're only purchasing oats here. We do purchase organic and conventional, but all gluten-free purity protocol. In terms of movement with our production contracts, our movement, we kind of break that up into windows throughout the year, and kind of spread out the deliveries from the harvest period into the next spring and summer there. For trucking, we offer both picked up contracts as well as delivered for the folks that like to bring in their or haul their own grain. We do have a few of our own dedicated trucks that we try to utilize as much as possible. So we can offer picked up in the yard. Less than full loads. We also can work with those as well. Just going down here, for crop quality, sample quality, it's been kind of a mixed bag from what I've saw so far this year. I know we had a bit of drier weather in there throughout the summer, so we've seen maybe a little bit of lower test weights, but overall really good. I've heard some excellent yields from some of our producers, and for the most part, good looking oats overall. And then expectations or predictions, I guess I kind of touched on that a bit. Hard to say where we're going to be at in terms of price going forward here. We'll generally kind of get into that pricing part a little later on into the winter before we come out with any of that. And I think that's it for me here.
All righty. Are you another one of the people who folks will be seeing at Organic Connections?
Yes, so we'll also have a booth there at Organic Connections.
Yeah, the question was, is your purity protocol for gluten similar to, and I think you said it was similar to what Matt explained. It's kind of interesting. It ends up with any gluten products being like a prohibited product, being acceptable for organic production, in that it's both 3 years in both cases. So I guess as far as gluten-free oats is concerned, any of those other crops is a prohibited product in the previous 36 months.
Yeah, so it's pretty much that. There's a bit of a 3-year window between the last gluten-containing crop and the first year of eligibility for gluten-free oats, and that just helps allow some of the seed that's still in the ground to give that a chance to germinate, some of that residual seed out there, and clean up those fields. And there's no risk contamination from previous crops.
Right. So that would include rye, wheat, barley, and triticales, I guess, and winter wheats and stuff as well. So.
Yeah, those are the main ones we see. Typically, there's lots of barley and wheat kind of produced in our growing areas. So those are the main ones, but then triticale and rye as well are all in that, for lack of better words, prohibited list, I guess.
It says here, do you have to use specific trucking that don't handle gluten crops? So how do you deal with that in terms of trucks that have handled gluten type crops in advance of moving your product?
So we definitely try to utilize our trucks as much as possible, just for that reason. Our trucks, we have a set of trucks here at our facility that is only handling gluten-free oats to our facility, and that way we can ensure that there's no other gluten-containing crops that may contaminate the trailer. There's always spots that some crop can kind of get hung up in the trailer, and this helps to eliminate that chance. For producers that want to haul their own grain, I know there's most other producers always have other crops, or trucking companies are hauling other crops. So we just look to make sure that there's a thorough clean out done if there was a different crop hauled with that trailer before it's loaded with gluten-free oats.
It may apply to both of you who have the purity programs, but I'm curious, how do you prove that? I mean, do farmers have to justify to you via records and stuff that in fact they have not grown, or affidavits, or how is it that they verify to you that they in fact have not grown a gluten type product prior to the oats?
Yeah, so we kind of have a conversation there with our growers, and look back on their field history on what they've grown in the past, to help validate that there hasn't been any glutinous crops grown in those 3 years leading up to that. And then there's a couple other things that we work with as well. As Matt said, certified seed is a big one. Having clean seed. Generally, that gap, those 3 gap years, as well as the certified or the certified seed, are the two of the most important things in order to meet the gluten-free spec.
Well, thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you.
All righty. Next company up is Sunrise Foods International. And I believe we have Reed Noyes joining us.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thanks to our organizers. It's great to see the organic community come together. I guess we view this as a bit of a warm-up for Organic Connections next month, which we're looking forward to as well. So yeah, my name's Reed Noyes. I'm doing majority of the buying here for Sunrise. Our team based in Saskatoon, you will be familiar with Bill Longman. He manages our buying team, and we work closely with our other colleagues. Chelsea, you'd be familiar with if you've sold us wheat and oats, and Holly's handling some of our specialty crops. And then we have Scott on our logistics side. So those might be some names that are familiar with you. I guess currently right now we're really busy. It's a great time of year. We're seeing lots of samples come in. We encourage producers to send samples as soon as you do have it off the crop. We buy just about all commodities organically. And I would say this year in particular, it's going to be important that we do have a good understanding of what your grain quality is, so we can get you some appropriate pricing. We do offer moving picked up on farm on all of our grain. If you prefer to haul, you have your own trucks, you can haul. So some of our locations we use on cereal grains would be down to Alexander, Manitoba, which is just west of Brandon. And that's an elevator that we own there. And we also have options to go into Alberta as well. That's closer to your location. And again, with the wheat and oats, I'm just highlighting that because that's what we have movement available this fall yet. If you have some grain you'd like to move off farm, we're working into November and December on those. In addition to that, I guess some of the other crops that we handle would be your cereal grains, durum, soft white wheat, barley. We can be open to receiving all of those as well. And then for our specialty side, we handle lots of lentils always in the market. We encourage you to get some samples on those. And brown flax. This year we haven't seen too much come in quite yet. It has been a late harvest as usual with flax. So far, I would say we haven't seen quality issues, just not enough samples rolling in quite yet. I do see a comment. The audio is a little off. Is it okay for the group now?
It's better
Is it
now.
better now? Thank you.
It's better now, Reed. There was a good portion of it that was pretty garbled though, so I don't know if you want to maybe go back and kind of yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I guess just touching, I guess, on some more of the markets that we have there. I said we have movement available on the wheat and oats, and just encouraging you to get some samples in. Just looking at what some of the questions are here. Current price indications that we'd have for you on the oats. We do buy just spin run, take it down to facility, and it's just elevated dockage. And we do offer third-party grading and dockages on everything that we buy, just to ensure it's fair to both the farmers and us. You have that comfort of knowing it's a third party. Price-wise, picked up on farms, it depends a little bit on your location. I don't know, so you're looking at $15 to $9 a bushel. Other spring wheat being that $17.50 ballpark range, again, plus minus a little bit for freight.
Reed, sorry to bug you, step in here again. It's yeah, it's a little garbled again. Maybe try turning off your webcam because that might help with your bandwidth a little bit. See if that's better.
Okay, does that sound a little bit better with the webcam turned off?
Still a little bit garbled.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll keep going. I was making sure hopefully you can hear me okay.
Unfortunately, it's unintelligible right now, Reed. We can't distinguish anything you're saying. Would it be possible to go out and come back in again?
Let me try that.
Well, everyone, we promised you some potential technical difficulties. In the
Okay.
meantime, are you back?
I just admitted him here from the waiting room and we'll give that a shot again. I suppose if it's still garbled, I suppose we could maybe move on to the next one
Yes.
and then come back to Reed if maybe by then it'll be better. But we'll see. Reed, are you back with us?
I'm back. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, right now we can.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure what would be going on with the audio.
These things happen.
Did you want me to continue or is Kelly gonna go?
Yeah, you go ahead. We'll let you know if it happens again.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I'm not sure how much you heard, but just to kind of pick up with some of the pricing I was sharing. We are buying, I guess, oats right now, picked up on farm. We'd be looking, depending on your location, at that $8.50 to $9 a bushel. And then on hard red spring in that 17 to 18 range, those would be picked up on farm as well. Soft white wheat, we're definitely interested. Price indication on that would be $15 picked up on farm. And I would say an interesting contract that we do have available now is the target price agreement. So it's not as familiar in the organic industry. It's a lot more common with some of the larger conventional companies. And basically all that is that you set the price that you want for your grain and you determine the quantity and delivery period you're looking for. And then you give us a chance to go out and make that sale. So you would commit that you have that volume available at a certain price for a certain amount of time, and we'll do our best. So, you know, on some of these commodities, we'd really encourage you to look at that route as well. On brown flax, we're always looking for some. We do buy it on CGC dockage. This year it's going to be depending on sample quality. And with the later harvest on flax, we just haven't seen too much come in quite yet. Yellow peas, we are actively buying. Prices on that is going to be in the 21 to 21.5 range picked up on your farm. Yellow mustard we're purchasing as well in limited quantities. So get us some samples in. We'll update you on price based on how some of our current ownership is coming in, just to determine which quantity we can still go out and buy. And lentils across the board, we're very interested. Large greens, French greens, small greens, and blacks would be what we're looking to buy. And again, just encourage you to get some samples in. We buy everything picked up on farm. I was saying earlier, I don't know if you could hear, but we do offer some delivered options as well if you do own a truck and you prefer to haul it in yourself. Sample quality this year, for the most part, it's been good. Certainly you'll see with the oat market in particular, prices have climbed up a little bit in the last month. And that's just due to some good strong demand and maybe a little bit more blending required from your buyers in order to get this oat crop up to milling spec, just to do some lightweight oats. Expectations or predictions for market the coming months, it does seem like, we're seeing really good demand. There's lots of volume being demanded, but I don't think that's going to correlate with rising prices across the board. So I think you can be assured that there will be a home for your grain this year. You might not see some of those high prices that you did see the last couple of years now. Now I did have my chat reset when I rejoined, but I see Paul here. You're only doing trade in Western provinces. How about Ontario? I'm in Ontario. Yeah, Paul, we certainly can look. Our whole team is based out of Saskatoon here, so we do focus our purchasing in Western Canada. But absolutely, we have done some purchasing into Ontario and Quebec in the past as well. So feel free to send me an email or give me a phone call after this meeting here. My information's on the screen. And Brian, price on the hardwood spring. So yeah, it is going to depend on your quality. Picked up on farm, we'd be looking in that 17 to 18 a bushel range. Okay, it looks like that's it for questions. Hopefully the audio was more clear second time around here. And thanks for having me.
The audio was fine. Thank you very much. No other questions there? You handle a variety of crops. What's the most interesting crop that you've had to deal with?
Ooh, I guess it depends how you define interesting. Well, I guess certainly just as you get into some of the more specialty crops, it becomes very technical. So just with the cleaning requirements that are needed. For me, coming from my previous background was a conventional grain buyer with a different company. So I was just buying large volumes and that's what I knew. So coming to Sunrise has been a great opportunity to see some of these products that end up going straight onto store shelf.
Well, thank you very much, Reed. Much appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
Our final live panelist will be Kelly Cornelius of Grain Millers. Welcome, Kelly. It's your turn.
Thank you, Will. Thanks to Sask Organics for having us here for another edition of the 2024 Organic Grain Market Webinar. Look forward to, of course, seeing everyone up here in Saskatoon in a few weeks' time. Always a great time up there. My name, for those of you that aren't familiar, is Kelly Cornelius. I handle grain purchasing here along with Scott Shields, head of our Canadian procurement division. I also take care of the byproduct or feed sales here at our Yorkton facility, as well as our brand new, almost fully constructed flax facility out in Delisle, transitioning from Saskatoon. Just a brief history about Grain Millers. The company was founded in Eugene, Oregon in 1986 with the acquisition of a single mill there. It has since grown in size to incorporate many facilities dotting through the upper Midwest. Just to go through a few of those, we got a sizable mill in St. Ansgar, Iowa, a corn facility in Marion, Indiana, flax milling facility in Newton, Wisconsin, as well as head office is located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Going back to our Canadian operations, there's 3 main locations, one being in Rycroft, Alberta, an elevator up there servicing our Peace River growers up there. Then we have our flagship oat mill here located right in Yorkton, and as well that flax facility that is just about completed out in Delisle. So we are still to this day a family-owned company that's been heavily involved in the milling and food processing, which dates back about 100 years now. Our foundation has always been do the right thing always. And in my opinion, that has served us incredibly well over the past several decades, led to a lot of growth, and proud to say that we are the world's largest supplier of organic oat products. So with that all being said, what are we offering in terms of contract and delivery options? And most importantly, what are we paying? At this point, we have a couple of options available on organic oats. Our November time frame for delivery, which I believe is set for the week of the 18th, that is about 2/3 full right now, so almost booked. For that time frame, as well as our December time frame, it'd be $9 delivered. Just so everyone's aware, with our organic delivery, we'll typically segregate a week standalone as opposed to our conventional deliveries. We'll take our delivery for that full week on organic product to avoid flushes and cleanouts, and then switch back to conventional upon completion of that. So like I said, that will take place the week of November 18th for those interested in booking then. Moving out into January and beyond, don't have any dates set for those yet. We'll be pricing that at $9.50 delivered in. I just want to note that right this moment, those are both delivered prices, but we are offering some very attractive freight incentives. So I encourage you, if depending on where you're falling on the map, to get in contact with myself or Scott, and we can certainly find a deal for you there. On the flax front, right now we're pricing organic brown at 48 picked up into the new year. Just a brief update on the construction and commissioning out in Delisle. Initially, the target date was set at November 1st. Quickly approaching that here, we're just about 2 weeks away from that. I don't foresee that moving up at all. Usually with commissioning of a new mill, troubleshooting, running some flushes and getting everything commissioned and all of that running through correctly. I'm going to say some point in November, hopefully, but just stay in contact with us. We'll keep you updated in terms of when we'll start taking on any additional movement there and how initial startup is going. As well, with the organic milling barley front, from time to time, we'll start searching for that to head into our plant in St. Ansgar. We are pricing that at $9 picked up, subject to sample approval here. Again, that's probably going to be January forward for that time frame movement. And as well, just yesterday got word that we will be looking for some organic triticale. So if you have any samples of any of those commodities I just listed, please send us a sample of each, or if you don't know where to send those, be in contact with myself or Scott. We'll let you know where to get those sent off to. We'll gladly take a look at it. That way, even if it doesn't quite make our specs, you can at least have that information handy to be able to shop that around, or potentially compare and contrast that with results either you've gotten or have sent elsewhere. So that about covers where we're at price-wise on all of our current bids. All of these contracts, whether tonnage-based or a full production contract, are covered by full act of God, obviously. We do offer GPOs or grain pricing orders. Those are targets that you would set, similar to what Reed had mentioned with Sunrise. So you'd set your quantity, your price, and your expiry date. We'll send out that GPO target for you. If it triggers, we'll be in touch with you. We are fully licensed and bonded by the CGC, with payments typically taking place every Tuesday and Thursday. And we're very excited to announce the upcoming rollout of our new EFT program. So that's going to be where we are able to process and pay farmers via direct deposit, as opposed to the wire transfer program we've had in the past. There'll be no fees or anything associated with that on either end. It's fairly simple process, and just keep checking back with us there. I expect that to be rolling out here within the next few weeks to a month time. Finally, on a quick recap of the markets here, if the previous panelists hadn't quite covered it, I'm dubbing this the year that probably just could have been, right? We were looking at fantastic growing conditions early on, seeding into moisture. The moisture outlook going into spring was a little bit up in the air. People were quite concerned with the subsoil moisture, especially as we moved further west. That improved dramatically early on. Lots of optimism. Crops were off to a bit of a slower start. We didn't get that heat until about that June, July period. So crops were perhaps a little bit delayed, but still looking very good, had the potential for some fantastic yields. Obviously, as we moved into the July period, big lack of moisture through most of the growing regions, certainly limited yield capability, also brought in the possibility of some lighter test weight and some off-grade product. We saw a little bit of that earlier on in our samples for some of that crop that would have been taken off in late August, early September. Thankfully, as we've moved into the bulk of harvest and now we're pretty much near completion, we can thankfully note that most of those problems have been alleviated. So it's still a good year overall. Yields were certainly there. Plant stands looked fantastic. So there's some folks that maybe are a little bit let down with what their final yield ended up being, but nonetheless, I would call it a good to a little bit above average year overall in terms of yield and quality. Just one more thing there. The flax that's coming off so far as well, it's coming off a little bit earlier than we've seen in the past, looking fantastic. All the samples we've gotten looked at so far look really nice. That's great to see. We're projecting acres to be down there, so very, very nice and exciting to see good quality flax coming off. Where will this take us in the next year, you may ask? Expect to hear from us within the month of November here with what will be coming out with new crop pricing. Obviously, that's going to depend on the other commodities, where those are priced at, where we're going to initially enter the market for our fall deliveries. I don't expect really much to change between now and then in overall market outlook. I'd expect our new crop pricing probably to fall kind of in line with what the current values are. I don't expect that to stray too far there. Again, expect to see those coming from us here mid-November. That's about all I have. I'll just go through some of the questions in case I missed any there. The trucking, we offer obviously picked up pricing, or farmers can deliver their own loads. We do handle less than full loads. I mean, we handle anything from a few hundred bushels up to a full Super B. Dockage, typical dockage, I think that you'd see most places in terms of our oat program and our flax. And if you have any questions on those barley specs or triticale, please get in contact with us there as well. I may have missed something, but it doesn't pop off my head here. Was there any questions, Will, that came up in the chat?
I'm not seeing any.
All
No.
right, I must have covered her all.
Yes, you did. All righty.
Good.
Well,
All
thank
right,
you. Yeah,
yeah,
thanks.
thanks, Will. Thanks again, Saskar Organics, for having us. Look forward to seeing you all up in Saskatoon. And if you have any questions, please let us know.
All righty. Thank you very much. Yeah, we have today Prairie Heritage Seeds, but they couldn't be here to present. So we'd like to acknowledge them and share their contact information as well as a message from them. As it says there, they are a longtime player with over 30 years experience in the organic industry. And it says, our products generate strong demand even in low-priced market conditions, and we are currently looking for lentils and yellow peas. And please contact Danny Van Ergen or Raylene Caldwell in our office. So we thank them for being a sponsor, even though they're not here to present in person. These are all the sponsors, and we definitely thank them very much for assisting in putting on this event, both in terms of participating and their financial contributions, and taking the time to speak to us. Their support is greatly appreciated for sure. Now, we're always in the process of planning events, so stay tuned to our website and the newsletter for any updates as events as announced. The one on your left there that shows is called "We Don't Need GMO Wheat." And for those of you who may not know, there hasn't been much in the past research being done in GMO wheat, but there is being stuff done now. And I guess this presentation, this is a public event put on by a combination of the Canadian Biotech Action Network, which is shortened into CBAN, as well as our own committee, Organic Agriculture Protection Fund. And it is the day before Organic Connections. So if you're already in town or coming into town for Organic Connections, you may want to go Tuesday evening and to that public event. And also on the right-hand side of the screen, of course, the organic agronomy meetings. There was one postponed in October because, of course, anybody who works from the government has to go on radio silence. And so Dunling was not able to participate in that because of the election that is pending. But they will resume here in November and go throughout the winter, presumably, with 2 of them showing up before the end of 2024. Advancing Organics, of course, is our own trade show. There's often a lot of confusion. Organic Connections is actually an independent body with its own board of directors and has no direct association with Sask Organics other than we're both involved in organics. Organic Connections, of course, you'll note from their website that they've been doing these biannual shows for 20 years. Advancing Organics is much younger than that, but our event is taking place as typically towards the end of March, also this year in Saskatoon. So don't forget those dates, put those on your calendar, 25th and 26th of March, 2025. And for those of you who are now finding it too cold to go outside or will be in a matter of weeks and stuff and want something to do with your time, we have a lot of recordings from various webinars over the last number of years. I think in 2020, the first year of COVID, we pivoted from doing live seminars to doing online webinars. The advantage of that to some extent has been that there's a lot of stuff available that you can source online. And I think most of it is actually free. So if you're on the email list, you will have noticed a message that was penned by myself, actually. We've had a challenging couple of years in the last year at Sask Organics, and we were in financial difficult times. We are in financial difficult times, and we have been asking for your help. You have received a letter, probably at least one source, or at least more than one occasion, in the last few months here, asking for assistance in that regards. And for those of you who have contributed, we greatly appreciate that. And for those of you who haven't, we would appreciate your considering supporting us financially. You may be interested to know, and it's mentioned in the letter that, of course, there is no membership fee to Sask Organics, that you're all automatically members. So the way in which we make money is definitely programming, such as you've been through today here with the grain webinar and other events such as Advancing Organics and other webinars as well. So we appreciate your participating today, of course. So we want to thank you for joining us today and any other time you choose to join us for our webinars. There will be handouts from some of the sponsors, and this recording can be accessed at any time after you receive in the next day or so a link that will enable you to watch the recorded webinar. So we appreciate that you have joined us today. We thank you very much, and we wish you a good fall and winter and hope to see you at another event in the future.